Greetings and felicitations. I'm Jeff Higdon, and welcome to our third episode of STARFLEET At Large, the program which is designed to shine a spotlight on the members, regions, and chapters, giving us a chance to learn more about them. Looking around the fleet this month, the USS Cuchulainn has 3 new members, and the USS Southern Cross is celebrating their chapter's 15th anniversary. Congratulations. USS Omnus crew were involved in a 24-hour charity stream for the Scottish SPCA and raised £588. That's about $812. And the USS Archangel has moved from Shawnee, Oklahoma to Tulsa. The USS Zavala was named Chapter of the Year in the recent Virtual IC. Congratulations. The USS Oklahoma turned in 220 pounds of aluminum cans for recycling. USS Reprisal crew members attended a Bigfoot conference, and the USS Exeter crew members are preparing for the October filming of Dreadnought Dominion. We're looking forward to that. Our first guest was the Starfleet Marine Corps' first commandant. Please welcome Lieutenant General Rob Jackson.
Afternoon, guys. Jeff, good to see you.
Hey, good to see you again. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm 65 years old. I'm a retired police officer from Ohio. Married. I have 4 grown children and 13 grandchildren. And that's, the basis here, other than being in Starfleet and a couple other universes.
Now, what was it about Star Trek that made you a fan?
Well, obviously, I'm old enough to be an original series fan. That's where I grew up in, watching it in my little black and white TV in the kitchen when it was on in the evenings. And I loved the series. And then obviously the others came on later on in life. But TOS was the start. So, and then I was reading a paperback of some science fiction, and in the back page was an advertisement for Starfleet. Also, there was one for Starfleet Command, if you remember that organization. And that's how I joined Starfleet. And one thing led to another, and here we are.
Well, not only were you the first Starfleet Marine Corps Commandant, you also set up the Starfleet Marine Corps. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yep. When I joined, I was assigned I actually joined the Polaris, which was in Cincinnati. It was commanded by Ted Tribby. And I had been reading, some other science fiction book, and they had surface tactical members of the ship. And I thought that'd be kind of a cool position to have. I didn't know there were Marines had been mentioned. But then when I joined the ship, the Polaris, there was mention of Starfleet Marines. Somebody else had started it, and I feel bad I don't remember because I don't have all of my original materials here. It's all back in storage. But there was a book that came out, I think in 81, called The Best of Trek, I think number 3. And it actually had a chapter in it about the Starfleet Marines. And that was the basis of a lot of the materials that were in the original manuals back in the day. So the other person had written a manual, and it really hadn't gone anywhere. And then I joined and kind of started a letter writing campaign, first to Starfleet Command, and then they allowed me to contact the ships in my region 1 at the time. So I sent letters out. You had to type on a typewriter. And this was 87, 88. And so that's how I got kind of things started with the Marines, and then working with other people around the fleet and so forth. We got things set up. I eventually rewrote the second Marine manual, I think, in late 88, maybe early 89. And from there, it just kind of went, people got interested, and we established the uniforms, and we eventually came up with an academy, and it blossomed. People got interested, and we did, the whole whole thing. And again, here we are.
Wow. I remember some of that as a Starfleet historian had looking at some of that. Um, Now, I understand there was a little bit of drama in the Starfleet Marine Corps when they spun off a side association called the Starfleet Marines International.
International. Yep.
Can you shed us some light on that?
Oh yeah. Um, Always drama in Starfleet. I don't care. Um, anyway, yes, because there were several fleet organizations, Star Trek fan organizations that had Marine contingents in it. There were the Klingons. There was a Ranger bunch. There was another, I think, a Starfleet Command in, or Starfleet Marines in Starfleet Command that was active then. So we kind of decided that we put all of those together, and so we'd have a common kind of background and history and so forth. And the people that we were in charge of SMI, or Starfleet Marines International, were a lot of the leader types that had been leaders in Starfleet. So it just became, kind of its own thing. We had good graphics, we had good academy and so forth. It didn't respond well to Starfleet itself, but things, you try to evolve things, and things, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't.
Now, you also had some fun at being a CEO of chapters, 3 of them exact. Can you share us how each chapter had their own identity and challenges?
Oh yeah. The first was the USS Columbus, the original version of 2006. I think it was 2006 Alpha. I don't remember the class. I remember the ship, but unfortunately I don't remember the class. But it became an Alpha class when we upgraded it. And that was the first. I wasn't the first captain there. I think I was the maybe third. Marines were allowed to be captains kind of early in the Starfleet Marine process. We had our own ships. We could be captains of regular fleet vessels. So the Columbus was a really good chapter. We were very active. We had regular monthly meetings. We worked with the March of Dimes in Columbus with a run at night called Night Moves, where we were handed out the little glowing things and T-shirts and so forth. So it was a good chapter. We went to Regional 1 conference down in Virginia every year. And then when I moved from Ohio to Massachusetts, I eventually took over the USS Boston, which was a Galaxy class. That was a correspondence chapter. And we had a number of good members back when it was called correspondence chapters. And then from there, we graduated to the USS Omar Khayyam, which was a ship that I helped create and design with a graphic artist down in Florida, where we had a lot of extensive graphic work. And we have each deck is drawn, and all the areas are labeled and so forth. So there's a lot of work. It was a lot of fun, and that was a unique ship in itself, as it was had time travel capabilities. So that corresponded with my living historian stuff that I do or did.
Well, not that you've already been busy enough. You are also an inspector general for Starfleet under several fleet admirals. Now, can you tell us what the IG did back then, and without breaking confidentiality, that is, can you share us a story from that time?
Sure. The IG back in the day, at least when I was doing it, was kind of sort of what the JAG does now, but kind of both, where the JAG, I think, now is the defending thing, and the IG is the prosecutor. That I could be wrong there. But back in my day, we had to investigate complaints of violations of code of conduct or something else that may have come up from a complaint that was sent to the Admiralty Board. And we had one, and I fortunately don't remember the name or the particular action that was caused the investigation. All I know, I did quite a considerable amount of contact with other people that were involved, and eventually presented my findings to the Admiralty Board and an IC. And at that time, I hadn't found anything that would bring this person up for charges. So it was interesting. It was kind of like a lot of police work, which is kind of what I did, in real life. I don't know that they do that now, particularly. I haven't really read up on that, my bad. But it was an interesting job, and we had a new manual, and I see that my manual is still there. I was surprised to see that. I was taking a course in Academy the other day, and I was like, wait a minute, that's my name there still. So anyway, it's kind of nice, to see the stuff that hangs around.
Well, now you work for a sister department, or with a sister department of the Marine Corps, the Starfleet Special Operations. Mm-hmm. What's that like, and how is that different than the Marine Corps?
Well, the Corps obviously is the military, for lack of a better term, branch of Starfleet, whereas Special Ops is for lack of a better term, the Jason Bourne, James Bond kind of activity. It's the Black Ops of Starfleet, Section 31, if you want to go bad. But it was something different. I thought I would try, because the Marines were going strong and so forth. So, Special Ops seemed kind of an interesting divergence. We had tried Special Ops back in my day. It was called SOCOM. And there again, because we had different military types starting in Starfleet, the Rangers, and I forget, there was something else going on. So we started SOCOM, and there again, that kind of fizzled out, as things do sometimes. But then, they started it up again apparently in the early 2000s. So it just seemed an interesting place to start, and it had good, interesting courses I've been taking. And my captain of the ship that I'm currently attached to locally is the director of operations. So apparently an opening came for group commander, and she said, "Hey, would you like to do that?" I went, "Sure. Where are the keys?"
Now here's a fun little segment we have called Captain Shore Leave Red Shirt. Who would you want to lead you on a starship, or hang out with, throw out the nearest airlock? One of those three choices. These are the choices you have: T'Pol, Miles O'Brien, and Reginald Barclay. Who would you want to lead you?
T'Pol.
Any reason why?
You can't go wrong with a Vulcan.
Who would you like to hang out with?
O'Brien.
He does seem to be a fun guy, doesn't he?
He does seem to be entertaining at best.
And you throw Reginald out the airlock, eh?
Well, maybe I would threaten to do that. Reginald's sharp as a button, but he's a little eccentric. So yeah, you have to kind of keep him in line and go, there's the airlock just down the corridor.
Wow. Well, you have some fascinating things that you've let us know about, and I want to thank you for that, Rob. Appreciate you being here on Starfleet at Large.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the time, and I really enjoyed watching your shows here. So good luck to you, and I hope to see a lot more.
Thank you very much. Coming up next, a quick look at the Fleet Admiral's Barbecue, courtesy of Kim Donahue, our producer from Ask Me Anything.
Good morning. We're here at the Bob Noble Park for the Fleet Admiral's Barbecue, and this is our first interview.
I want to say, I have it on my car.
Yeah. 2 days. The first night, 9 hours.
Oh my goodness.
But we came from Cincinnati, farther than Cincinnati, almost to Dayton, and
in Texas.
went all the way through Louisville and all the way down here to Paducah.
Right.
And it took us approximately 7 hours because there was an accident.
Oh, it's about 6.5 hours. I live in Kansas City, Missouri.
Okay.
Well, 2 accidents that took us about 45 minutes each in there. So usually it's about a 5-hour drive at about 70.
We decided we're going to turn this into a road trip, 12 hours. I'm not doing it in one clip. I'm the only one driving the clown car. Thank you very much.
So I would have to say it's 5 times 70. We were about 350 to about 400 miles.
It's nothing to sneeze at.
Maybe a little more.
Oh, yeah. We went to the Mammoth Caves.
Oh, that's
We see Pete's Reptile Farm. We're stopping at the reptile farm.
Always, anywhere I go, I have a good time.
Hello, Starfleet. Please join Fleet Admiral Steve Parmley on this month's Commander of Starfleet's Ask Me Anything, where you can ask him or any of his guests anything. Starfleet related, that is. This is your chance to ask those riveting questions and get the answers you've always wanted. Also, if you would like to be a guest on a future broadcast, please email epdirector.ama@gmail.com and we'll get you scheduled. Hope to see you soon.
There has been plenty of time to do the SFDPP 101 and 102. Work has begun with fleet operations and the regional coordinators to determine which COs and XOs that have not taken the required exams. Starfleet is now dry docking or removing either the CO or XO who are lacking. These requirements have been set forth in the Members' Handbook and by the Office of Commander Starfleet in conjunction with the Admiralty Board of Starfleet International. Everyone with elevated access to the database including COs and XOs must have OTS, OCC, SFDPP 101 and 102.
Welcome back. Our next guest is another Starfleet Marine. He happens to be the current Starfleet Marine Corps Commandant. Welcome, Lieutenant General Ray Cordero.
Thank you, Jeff.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself, Ray.
Well, there's not much, but originally from New York City, Brooklyn to be exact. I'm currently living in Central Ohio right now. And I do have 2 children. I wouldn't call them kids. They're pretty old as it is. And that's about it right now.
Now, what brought you into Star Trek? What made you a fan of it?
Ooh. It was one of the few channels in New York City. There was a channel on, I think it was WPIX, and they used to always show it. And growing up, that's one of the shows that I grew up watching, and I just happened to love it. And always loved the science portion of it, of the adventure and everything. So it was always fun to watch and to get away from in the real life. So
what brought you to Starfleet? How did you become a member? And how long have you been a member? And what were some of the roles that you have been doing before you became Commandant?
Oh, well, let's see. I first joined Fleet back in 95. I stayed for a year and then I went away for a little while. And then I came back in 2001. I wanted to do something interesting. And I found the Marine Corps, SFMC. I didn't know that it was even started because when I first joined in 95, there wasn't that. I was in engineering at the time. And came back in 2001 and I read about the SFMC and I was like, that's my choice, because being a former soldier in real life, it was one, unique, and 2, something I'm more used to doing, and been in there ever since. I started out as a unit OIC, went up to battalion, was part of the brigade staff over in the 7th Brigade back in the day, and worked all my way up to deputy brigade OIC. Then I had to come over to Ohio due to my job, worked my way up in the 1st Brigade staff, brigade OIC twice. I had an opportunity to be deputy force comm. So I managed to get in that slot, and now I'm here as commandant per se.
Oh, wow. Now, what are some of the challenges you're facing as Commandant today?
Challenges, trying to make sure everybody works together, because you have many different groups all over and many different opinions, and trying to wedge them all together to work properly. You can't please everybody all at once. So it's a little difficult and it's very challenging, but we try to make it that we try to please everyone as much as we can to make sure everything is done right. It's very challenging. It's an ongoing challenge, period, I can say.
Now you're in Region 1. Excuse me, 1st Brigade. You're originally from New York City, Region 7. How are the two different, and how are the two the same?
One, there is some differences. The 7th Brigade is a little smaller brigade compared to the 1st Brigade, which is 8 states. And the spread, all part of the lower mid-Atlantic and some here in the Midwest, the beginnings of the Midwest states. So it's trying to fuse all those I would say, cultures per se, I would say, because it'd be everybody, you have Southern, you have Midwest here in the 1st Brigade. In the 7th Brigade, everything is really compacted. It's all mid-Atlantic, so everything is a little similar. So trying to get everybody there. That's a little, logistically, it's even worse.
Oh, wow. I see that you wear special glasses. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
About 6 years ago, due to my health, I'm blind, legally blind. 60% on one eye, 30% on another. So I have to wear specialized bifocals, progressive lenses, as they call them, and they have to be tinted due to the fact of all the brightness. Even right now, I literally live in the dark so I can see better. So when I'm on a screen, I have to change, because even with the lowest, the brightest brightness settings, I still have to cover my eyes due to this issue that I have with my eyesight.
Wow. Now, getting back to the SFMC, what has your favorite experience within Starfleet or the Marine Corps, and why?
My favorite, favorite experience is, like I said, I'm a former military person, a veteran, and seeing all of us together, seeing even though we're all of different branches and everything else, and even overseas, meeting some of those people who served in the branches and over there, we all have the same common goal of seeing us improve and being out there to help each other and help outside to show that what the SFMC and fleet does. So I say we lead the way in some of the projects. May not be seen less so, but we actually, like the Toys for Tots, the reading challenges, the helping out. Like last year we had a blood drive, a global blood drive that we wanted to do that due to the pandemic, and blood was important that needed to go out there. So we started a blood drive, and it was very successful, which, like I said, Marines lead the way. It shows.
Definitely have to agree with you there. Now, you obviously won't be Commandant forever.
No.
What pet project would you like to see continue after your time?
Well, the ongoing one, the uniform is one. Trying to move forward to more Trek-looking uniform. We recently, last year, did the CAR 2399 uniform. And we want to be improving that to get away from the old stuff to make it more like, that's too militaristic. We try to be more Trek-listic, but with our own little flavor. And another project that I'm working on that with TRACOM actually is to expand the academies. And one of them is that I'm working with TRACOM is to do more MOS specific courses. So instead of I'm in support and you have a title, take courses. And we're going to try to design that hopefully for in the next year or so. We go from there, hopefully get that all straightened out once we have all the manuals updated.
Now, we have a fun little segment here, Ray, which we call Captain Shore Leave Red Shirt. So, who would you like to have lead you, hang out with, or throw out an airlock? Now, here's your three choices. Chakotay, Waynan, Jadzia Dax. Now, first, who would you like to lead? Yeah,
Chakotay, definitely.
Definitely. Any reason?
He if you watch Voyager, you can see he was a people person type leadership. He made sure everything was done right, and he always, he was taking care of the fellow man, and he knew what his decisions, his thinkings was to betterment everybody.
Yeah. Who would you like to hang out with?
Oh, Jadzia.
Oh, definitely cool.
She's a fun, you can tell in the series, she was a fun person to be with, you know, over at the double tables playing, you know, because I played blackjack back in the day at Atlantic City. So yeah, that'll be fun hanging out with, you know, being at the tables per se.
And who would you like to chuck out the airlock?
Wayne, yeah, definitely him. He's got to go.
Yeah, definitely him. Well, Ray, I want to thank you again for being here, sharing your experience in Starfleet Marine Corps, and in fandom in general. Thank you, and best of luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, thank you.
Here are some conventions coming up around the world. We currently don't know the status of some of them because of the latest COVID surges, so be sure to check before going. Well, another Starfleet at Large is wrapped up for today, and I want to thank our guests for being a part of such a fantastic program today. Please watch and spread the word as we go forth. But if you know someone that would like to be on the show, or if you have some news about your chapter, region, or just Star Trek or Star Trek fandom in general, please email us at starfleetatlarge@gmail.com. For the staff of Starfleet at Large, I'm Jeff Higdon. Looking forward to seeing you all again, and may the winds be at your back.